We follow development from the womb through childhood's bonds. Now we arrive at one of the most turbulent and fascinating chapters of life, adolescence. It begins with the body. Puberty is the period of rapid physical and sexual maturation, triggered by a surge of hormones that transforms a child into an adult capable of reproduction. It arrives on its own schedule, and the timing matters psychologically. Kids who mature much earlier or later than their peers often face their own particular social pressures, but the more surprising story is happening in the brain. For a long time, we assumed the brain was basically finished by childhood. It isn't. The adolescent brain is undergoing dramatic remodeling, and it does so unevenly. The emotional and reward-seeking systems deep in the brain mature early and run hot, but the prefrontal cortex, the seat of judgment, planning, and impulse control, doesn't fully mature until the mid-20s. Think about what that means. For several years, a teenager is driving a car with a powerful accelerator and not yet finished brakes. This mismatch helps explain the classic adolescent combination: intense emotion, heightened sensitivity to peers and rewards, and a tendency toward risk. It isn't a character flaw, it's neurology. The reward of a thrill or of peer approval simply lands harder than the distant downside. Cognitively, this is also when, in Piaget's terms, formal operational thinking comes online, the capacity for abstract thought. Teenagers begin to reason about hypotheticals, question the rules they grew up with, and imagine how things could be different. That new power fuels idealism, argument, and a great deal of soul-searching. Which brings us to the central task of the period, the one Erikson named the defining crisis of adolescence: identity versus role confusion. The teenager's great project is to figure out who they are. They try on different roles, values, and possible selves, experimenting with how they look, what they believe, and where they belong. Out of this experimentation, ideally, emerges a coherent sense of self, a stable identity to carry into adulthood. When that search stalls, the result is confusion about one's place and direction. The peer group becomes central here, a kind of laboratory for identity, which is why fitting in feels so urgent at this age. Adolescence, then, is a bridge between the dependence of childhood and the autonomy of adulthood. In the final segment, we'll ask one more question about how we grow, not how we think or feel, but how we come to tell right from wrong.